Hello, students. So, in this video lecture, we will be taking up a new topic, and that is the heart morphology. All right. So, in that context, we will be first dealing with the location of the heart, that where the heart is exactly located in the human body. All right. And we will also deal with some of the basic features of the heart. All right. And apart from that, we will be discussing the heart labelings and the wall layers in the heart. All right. So, as you can see on your screen, all right, the 3D model of the human skin, that is actually representing the different, blood vessels that are being originated from the heart. All right. And you can, if I'll just zoom this model a little bit, so you can see the exact location of the heart here. All right. So, this heart is basically, if we precisely consider the location of the heart, then the human heart is actually located in the mediastinum of the thoracic cavity. All right. So you can see that this is the thoracic component. This is the thorax part. You can see this part is actually the thorax part. So the heart is usually located in the mediastinum of the thoracic cavity, and mediastinum is considered to be as the space between the two lungs. All right. So the space that is provided between the two lungs, so in that space the heart is fitted. All right. So we can just note down the location. So this is the heart which we can see. All right. And this heart is located in the mediastinum of thoracic cavity. All right. Now, what do you mean by mediastinum? So, the mediastinum represents the space between two lungs. So, mediastinum represents space between two lungs. All right. So, this is the location of the heart in the human body. We will now talk about the morphology of the heart now. Now, see. So, as you can see that this is the 3D model of the heart morphology depicting, if I'll just rotate this model, so you can see that how the backward side and how the frontal portion of the heart looks like, consisting of different chambers. All right. So we will be discussing all this thing in this video. So, but before starting with the main content of the morphology in the heart, let's just talk about some of the basic things of the heart. All right. When we talk about heart, then the study of heart is usually called cardiology. So, study of heart comes under a very unique branch of biology, and that is called cardiology. So, the study of heart is called cardiology. And heart, actually, you can see from the model itself that it is a thick muscular organ. All right. So it is a pumping organ. Since it pumps blood to different parts of the body, so it is also considered to be as a pumping organ. This is contractile also. This heart is considered to be contractile because it shows the process of heart beating. All right. So heart is thick. Then it is muscular also. Then contractile, then it is autonomic also. Autonomic means the heartbeat will occur in an involuntary action. All right. So it is not dependent on the control of any other organs of the body. All right. So autonomic, that means the heartbeat process, it starts through its own way. All right. So it is not dependent on the instructions of the nervous system. So that's why it is autonomic. That means self-regulatory. So autonomic, and it is a pumping organ. It is a pumping organ. All right. Now, if we consider vertebrates, all right, in case of vertebrates they have a single heart. So vertebrates have single heart, and this single heart is usually made of cardiac muscles. So this is made of cardiac muscles. All right. Now, heart has a very unique ability of, pumping the blood to different parts of the body. Then it receives impure blood also, and then it pumps pure blood also. All right. So all these things are there. So heart, this uniqueness of the heart is basically because of the intercommunicating chambers that are present in the heart. So this heart basically comprises of intercommunicating chambers. That means each of the chambers that are present in the heart, they can communicate with themselves. So heart is divided into intercommunicating chambers. All right. So this is the case. Now, when we consider the human heart, since we are talking about the human heart, so human heart is made of 4 chambers. So human heart is made of 4 chambers. So what are those 4 chambers? 2 atria and 2 ventricles. Now this atria, that means singular is atrium. The singular form is atrium. All right. Now this atria is located on the upper part of the heart. Part of heart. And the ventricles are located on the lower part of heart. So we will be seeing all the locations of these chambers in the model via labelings also. All right. So this is the case. Now, if you can see the color of the heart, then the color of the heart is usually reddish brown. So it is reddish brown in color. All right. And if you consider the size, then the size of the heart is usually 12 centimeter in length and it is 9 centimeter broad. So that means from here to here, it is 12 centimeter and from here to here, it is 9 centimeter. All right. So 9 centimeter broad. All right. Now, the upper part of the heart is basically called as the base and the lower part is called as apex. All right. So this you can see, for example, like this part. All right. So this part is usually representing the base part. So this is the upper part of heart. All right. And this part is considered to be as the apex, which is the lower part of the heart. And this apex is pointed, you can see. This is pointed. So apex is the lower part of heart. So this is the lower part of heart. All right. So we have seen some of the basic features of the heart. All right. Now we will talk about and we will see in the model that what are the different, vessels or what are the different chambers that are present in the heart. So let's just bring this model a little bit in the center and it will be like this. So let me just show you that how it looks from back. So you can see the vessels are also coming out from the back itself. All right. And the frontal portion looks like this. So we will keep this model like this also. Now we will label all the different components. So this one represents the right atrium. All right. And this one represents the left atrium. All right. This one represents the right ventricle. That means this chamber, the lower chamber. So this represents the right ventricle, which is next to the right atrium. And this is represented by the left ventricle. All right. So these are the four chambers of the heart: right atrium, right ventricle, and then left ventricle. All right. Now, blood vessel, there are two very common blood vessels that enters into the right atrium. So this is called superior vena cava So this is a blood vessel that will enter into the right atrium. And this is called inferior vena cava. So superior vena cava will carry the impure blood from the upper parts of the body, while inferior vena cava will carry the blood from the lower parts of body. The details of all these blood vessels have been provided in the another set of model that depicts the human heart anatomy part. So you can just go through it, and the details of all the blood vessels along with the septum and everything has been provided over there. So this is called superior vena cava and then inferior vena cava. This part represents the aorta, and this represents the pulmonary trunk. All right. So aorta and pulmonary trunk, these are the blood vessels that will leave the heart. Aorta and the pulmonary arteries. This pulmonary trunk is going to give rise to pulmonary artery. So this one is the left pulmonary artery. This is the left pulmonary artery. And this one is the right pulmonary artery. So this indicates that the left pulmonary artery will enter into the left lung and the right pulmonary artery will enter into the right lung. So this is right pulmonary artery. These are the blood vessels. Now, we'll just remove all these labelings and just move on to the back side of the model like this. You can see here. So here you can see that this atrium, which is the left atrium. So from the frontal side, you can see that this is going to look like this. So this we have seen that this is representing the left atrium. This we have seen. All right. Now you can see that this left atrium is receiving the 4 pulmonary veins. All right. So here you can see. Now we will see from the back side. So this is the left atrium. This one is the left atrium. And this left atrium is receiving 4 pulmonary veins. See. This one and then this one. All right. So these are pulmonary veins. So if you just rotate the model from the frontal side, if you look into the model from the frontal side, so you can see that this is the left atrium. And these are pulmonary veins. All right. So pulmonary, these are also pulmonary veins. Now, a pair of pulmonary veins comes from each lungs. All right. That means left pulmonary veins will be coming from the left lung and the right set of pulmonary veins will come from the right lung. All right, so this is the case. So these are left pulmonary veins that will come from the left lung. This is 2 in number. And these are right pulmonary vein which will come from the right lung, and since these are veins, so they will carry the oxygenated blood. All right, and arteries carries oxygenated blood and veins carries deoxygenated blood, except there is an exception, and that is pulmonary veins. Pulmonary vein is the only vein that will carry the oxygenated blood with them towards the heart. So basically, this right pulmonary vein is also 2 in number. All right, so this is the blood vessels. So we have seen the blood vessels that is entering the heart and the blood vessels that are leaving the heart. Now, there is a very important feature which is called as coronary sulcus. So you can see here. Let me just tilt the model a little bit. So this is considered to be as coronary sulcus. Now, coronary sulcus is considered to be as a groove between the atria and the ventricle. So it's a groove between atria and ventricles. That means right atrium, right ventricle, and left atrium and then left ventricle. So these are present in both the cases. All right. Now, this coronary sulcus or groove is more towards the atrium as compared to the ventricle. So that's why the atria are smaller than ventricle. Because of the predominance of this coronary sulcus more towards the atrium, so the atria are smaller than ventricle. All right. So this coronary sulcus is more towards atria. So, atria are smaller than ventricles. Now, you can see the various veins and veinlets and capillaries also present. All right. So, this red blood vessel is considered to be as coronary artery. So these are coronary artery. All right, and these blue blood vessels which you can see represents the cardiac veins. So this represents the cardiac veins. All right, so in this we have seen that what is the morphology of the heart, then what are the different chambers and the blood vessels, how these blood vessels are being oriented in the heart structure. Now we will talk about the wall layers that are present in the heart. As you can see on your screen, that the model or the figure is basically representing the wall layers that are present in the heart. All right, so we will be discussing about the wall layers, that what are the types of the wall layers that are present in the heart, and then we will see their respective functions as well. All right, so heart is usually covered by a double-walled membranous bag-like structure. So heart covering is a double-walled membranous bag. So the covering of the heart is usually made of double-walled membranous bag, and that double-walled membranous bag is called as pericardium. This is called pericardium. Now, pericardium, if we just bifurcate the pericardium layers, so we can see that the layers of the heart wall is basically divided into 3 different layers. All right, so if we just look into the layers in the form of flow chart, so layers of heart wall. All right, so it is usually 3 layers. So, the first one is called pericardium, which we have already seen that it's a double-walled membranous bag of the heart. This is called pericardium. Then there is myocardium. And the third one is endocardium. All right. So these are the three layers of the heart wall. Now this pericardium, it is double walled. So it is double walled because it is in turn having the presence of two layers in them. All right. So it is in turn having the presence of two layers in them. Fibrous pericardium and serous pericardium. So that's why it is called double walled. So fibrous pericardium and then serous pericardium. Now this serous pericardium is further differentiated into two other layers. We will be seeing all these layers in the model also, one by one. So this serous pericardium is further divided into parietal pericardium and then visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium. All right. And this visceral pericardium is also called as epicardium. So this is also being considered to be as epicardium. All right. Which is the outer protective layer. So we have seen that there are three layers of the heart wall: pericardium, myocardium and endocardium. And pericardium is called double walled because it is made of a fibrous pericardium and a serous pericardium. Now we will see how these wall layers are actually arranged in the model. All right. So we'll just bring back the model in the center here. This one, as I already told you, that we will start with this brownish layer. All right. So this is called as fibrous pericardium. This is the fibrous pericardium. All right. So the outermost part of the pericardium layer is called fibrous pericardium. Now this layer is called the parietal pericardium. This is called parietal pericardium. All right. And this layer, which you can see over here, which is a very thin layer, this is called as visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium. All right. Now, these two layers, they come under serous pericardium. So they come under serous pericardium. All right. Now, one very unique and important feature of this wall layers is that there is a very narrow cavity you can see which is present over here. This one. So this is a narrow cavity which is present between the visceral and the parietal pericardium, and this is called pericardial sac. All right. And this sac is actually filled with pericardial fluid. So this is pericardial sac. Pericardial sac between parietal and visceral pericardium. Visceral pericardium. Now the importance of this pericardial sac is that this is a narrow cavity. We have seen that this pericardial sac is a narrow cavity. So it's a narrow cavity between the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. Now, this narrow cavity or the pericardial sac is actually filled with a fluid which is called pericardial fluid. Pericardial sac filled with pericardial fluid. Pericardial fluid. And the importance of this fluid is that This fluid is basically responsible for reducing the friction during heartbeat, and it also protects the heart from any kind of mechanical injuries or from any kind of mechanical shock. All right, so this reduces the friction and protects it also. All right, so this is the cavity which is present between the parietal pericardium and the visceral pericardium. Now, this layer, which you can see, so this is the myocardium. This is the myocardium. Now, myocardium is one such important layer of the heart, which is a muscular layer, and that is made of special cardiac muscles. All right, so this is a muscular layer. So this is a muscular layer made of cardiac muscles. So these are usually made of cardiac muscles. And cardiac muscles are such muscles which are involuntary and striated. All right. So these cardiac muscles, these are involuntary and striated. All right. So this is their importance. Now, the thickening of the wall of the heart actually depends upon the myocardium. You can see on the model also that the occupancy of the myocardium is the maximum. So that's why the thickening of the wall of the heart actually depends upon the myocardium only. All right. All the content and everything has been provided in the description section of the video link. So you can go through it. All right. So this is the second layer, which is myocardium. Now, the innermost layer, which you can see, this one is the endocardium. Here. And this endocardium is usually made of epithelial cells. So it is the innermost epithelial cells of the walls of the heart. So innermost epithelial cells. All right. So we have seen the different wall layers of the heart that are present, and we have also discussed that there are three wall layers: pericardium, myocardium, and then endocardium. Pericardium is further divided into fibrous pericardium and then serous pericardium, and then serous is further differentiated into parietal and visceral. And we have also seen that this visceral pericardium is also called epicardium. This has been given the name epicardium. All right. So this was all about the walls of the heart. Thank you.